Hey guys, so welcome back to Lemaka Fam. Today we're going to be showing what movies I watch most of the time during horror movie season just to get things rolling because it's already August already, and before you know it, it'll be October, and it's my favorite time of year, so I figured I might as well go ahead and make a video in regards to the horror movies I do watch. Some of my favorites. Some of them I'm yet to watch. I've watched the remakes of these movies, but not the original. I think one of them is. So let me go ahead and get that one out of the way first. So this is John Carpenter's original The Thing. Now, I've seen the remake and I enjoyed the remake. Everyone says that the original is so much better. So I'm definitely going to give this a definite watch, and it is in 4K, which is, I've heard so many people say that this actually is a very good rendition of the movie. It's very well redone, so it is definitely one that I will definitely be watching at some point soon. Um, I don't have them in front of me as a physical copy. Two movies that I really do enjoy watching this time of year is the original first Jeepers Creepers. That movie, when I was a kid, I first watched it and I was amazed by how well the intensity within like 10-15 minutes of the movie being on. The truck driving down the road, them honking at them, and everything else. It intensified as the movie went along, and it was such a great done film that I watch it every year. The sequel is well done too, Jeepers Creepers 2. Um, we don't talk about the other two that they made, 3 and then the remake. We don't talk about those. Those are not good movies. So, the other one I don't have on physical media, which I'm trying to find physical media for, is my favorite first of the series, Nightmare on Elm Street. The first movie is by far one of the best in the series because it's just like nostalgia in the 80s, and it just makes you like really appreciate that kind of horror style of the movie, and it just really makes it easier and fun to watch. Like some of the horror movies nowadays, it's not good, and most of these movies, if I'm not mistaken, are pretty well. Some of them are new, some of them are old, so I'm not gonna lie. So the next up on the list is not everyone's favorite movie, but it is mine because I like how they went about some of the movie in making it. I won't show too much of the cover because there is a pretty intensely not well liked scene. So I will just show just this part of it, and that is The Exorcist in 4K. I won't show too much of the screen just because people don't like particularly that part of it, but I do like the movie just because of the way they go about making the movie, and I'm not gonna lie, it can be very grotesque inside the movie, and I can read radar for very strong language and disturbing images. That's all it says. And disturbing images is very broad because what it shows in the movie is very graphic. We'll say that. Um, Moving on from the list, this is not in any particular order. There's no real specific way of doing these movies. Just because like it's just movies. So the next one, because it's following the same exact movie, was actually done last year, and this is a reboot of the series, a direct sequel from this Exorcist movie, and this one came out this year or last year. The Exorcist Believer. I won't show the front of the cover because there's very intensely, yeah, it's not as intense as the original. I can show you the back. It's a steel book, so it's really cool. I love how they designed this steelbook style of a movie. Um, that's two movies right there that I really enjoy just because of the way they do some of the filming. Um, just in that general standpoint. So there's two of them right there that I enjoy. Not everyone likes them. I get that. Um, this one is a little bit newer, like those two. This one I enjoyed because I liked the style that they done in this movie. This is a basically almost like a reboot, I want to say, from 2004, maybe, I think, when the original one came out. I can't really exactly remember, but this is a remake and actual real what they wanted to really make out of this movie, and that is called The Haunted Mansion, or Haunted Mansion in this sense. So, this movie I really enjoyed the most because this really felt true to what Disney was trying to go with it, and I just enjoyed this movie much more. It was comical, yes. There was some more serious scenes. Um, Eddie Murphy's was great. I will still watch it no matter what, but I prefer this one over that one. I forget what his name is in the movie, but I love the hunter in this movie. This guy right here. I think his name is Lake Stanfield. I think that's him. I love his character in this movie. He's very cool. He's very like down to earth. He's very comical. And then of course you got Danny DeVito, you got Owen Wilson, you got all these guys and actors and actresses that make this movie so much more enjoyable. Not everyone's gonna like this movie, and I agree. You know, it's everyone's own opinion. But this movie I really enjoyed a little bit more than Eddie Murphy's. Eddie Murphy's will still be always a classic in my mind. Um, so moving on from there, let's go back to the early 80s and 70s era. Let's do that instead this time. So, of course, this wouldn't be complete without the most talk about movie in the whole fall series or fall um, season. And that can't be complete without the original John Carpenter's Halloween. Now, this is in 4K original style, and this is one of my top Halloween movies. Like when I say Halloween, I'm talking about like horror in general. These are all some horror slash like thriller style movies. That's all I'm gonna say right there. Some can be a little bit more comical than others, but this is definitely one of my top horror movies of all time. This will be always my like classic movie to go to. And I even watched this. This is gonna be hard to say, but I've even watched this movie on VHS when it was in that crazy bad pixelated style, which to me back then was just normal. You know, back when I was a kid, we didn't have 4K, we didn't have DVD all the time. We had VHS. You had to pick VHS the whole time. And this was definitely one of the ones I picked a lot. So, moving on, I will get to the movie that actually inspired me to start watching horror movies when I was a kid. And this is the movie that my grandfather showed me when I was 6 or 7 years old. Yeah, 6 or 7. And this movie, I can show the front because it's not that bad, but it is one of my favorite movies in this genre of movies. This is a werewolf movie, and this is definitely one of my favorites. This is Neil Marshall's Dog Soldiers. This movie is so good. If you guys have never seen this movie, definitely pick it up. Definitely give it a watch. Please, I encourage you to. It is very graphic in the gory sense because werewolves. I mean, come on. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to eat people. Of course. There is a bit of language, of course. There's no, like, nudity or anything like that in this movie. There is just a bit more graphic than I anticipated when watching this movie. I watched this movie when it was really, if I remember correctly, I watched it when it was on TV, so it was really well edited for a lot of that stuff. And my grandfather, actually encouraged me to try and find it again because I found 3 different versions of this movie, and I have the 3 different versions. I have the DVD, no, I have VHS, Blu-ray, and now the 4K, which 4K is always going to look the best, but not always. But this movie, I watched this year for the very first time, and it is on my top list in the thriller sense. Not really horror. I wouldn't consider this really horror, but it is graphically horribly done because there is some gore in it, but not a whole lot. And that is Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci, whatever her last name is. I can't pronounce it. Sleepy Hollow. This movie is so good and it is very well done. I love this movie. And I don't know why, but like I am starting to grow more and more towards Tim Burton style movies now, just because he has that like weird look to him, which I enjoy. That movie is really well done. I enjoy that so well. Going back, let's do these two right here. Three, actually. Let's do these three. That'll work for me. My next on the list is a movie I will actually be going to see. A sequelish prequel, sort of speaking. So, this movie, you already can take a guess as to, like, why I would pick this. This is one of my favorite actresses. Besides, what's her name? I can't think of it right now. So, if it comes back to me, I'll let you know. But, let me make sure of something real quick. Do I even have that? Yes, I do. Okay, cool. Cool. Alright. Let me do this. Sorry, somebody was in the movie the other day and forgot to put it back in the right way. So, this is Ridley Scott's Alien. And if you have not seen this on 4K, please pick it up. It is absolutely phenomenal on 4K. The clearance of certain things are really cool and how they do it. This movie is my top one in the science field of horror. Definitely. So, definitely please pick this up. Watch it in the 4K format. It's really good. Moving on to the 80s. Oh, I did not mention. So when I was talking about like going to see a movie sequel / prequel, so you've seen Alien, and then you've seen Aliens. Well, there's a movie in between that's going to be taking place that's coming out next weekend. That is called Alien Romulus that I'm going to definitely go see, and it was produced by Ridley Scott but directed by, I forget his name, but he did really good stuff in the horror genre. So, but yeah, that is definitely one movie I'm going to definitely see. So, moving on from there, and this, everyone says, well, why do you like this one and not like the second one when the main person's in it? Because this one was true slasher. It is the original Friday the 13th on 4K, and I love what they did to the back. And that is one of the quotes that she says, mimicking or quoting like what her son would say to her. And this movie is so like true horror. Like finding out that who the person is killing people, that's really cool. That's really well done. And I love that movie. The second one is always always gonna be the next one to really be talking about, because that's when actually Jason shows up. We'll get into that more later on in this fall style of movies. The next one, I don't know if you want to consider horror or thriller or whatever, but it is Child's Play with Chucky, the original. Of course, you can't go wrong with the original. I mean, the child actor that they chose for him, for the kid, was perfectly well done. I'm trying to remember what his name was in this movie. Like his actual, like, real name, I forget. Can't remember. Alex Vincent, maybe? I'm not sure. I think it was Alex Vincent. But that definitely is one of my top ones. And this would not be complete without another slasher. And this is more of a common slasher nowadays. And this is Wes Craven's Scream. I love the detail on the cover of this. And then flipping it over, of course, you get the whole special features and everything else and all the whole detail and whatever. But this is definitely one of my top ones again, too, because I love the style that it is a human being doing this. Not like all these other movies that are like supernatural or someone that stays alive after you kill them or think that you killed them. And yeah, so this is definitely one of my top ones. And you can see some of these I haven't opened yet because I just like some of them I just like I've watched it so many times that I'm just not really like watching them right now, but some of them I have. So moving on from there, I think I'm gonna move on to the next '80s genre style of a movie, which is three of them. So these guys I will save for last because they're a little bit more in detail than I want to talk about because they're more my genre movies. This one is a comedy style of a thriller, funny. I don't know if you want to consider this horror or not, but it is Little Monsters. I love this movie just because of the way they do it. I mean, how can you go wrong with Howie Mandel in this movie? It is so good. It is not a thriller, it's not a horror, but it is a comedy in that it's like Halloween style of a movie. Like it's just, it has that like feeling of it. You know what I mean? Like it's just there. Um, I watched this when I was young. I think when I was like 5, it was on TV. I started watching it. I just loved every minute of it. This one is a funny story of how I actually started watching this. I was at my cousin's house, and his wife really watched this a lot, I guess. I don't really know. But this one really hit it for me when I first saw it. And I enjoyed it so much, even though I hate this particular character of a person in this world of horror, but it's still good. Killer Clowns. I am not a fan of clowns in general. I just don't like them. I don't mind them if they're in a movie. I just don't like being around them. They're just not very funny to me. They're just no really enjoyment for me when they're around. But in a horror movie or just in general, it's a great movie. If you have never seen this movie, please watch it. It's really good. It's very classic. Very just top there, right there for me. So that is definitely, like I said, this is not in any order of my favorites or not. This is just a broad thing of which ones I mostly watch. Next one is the least liked of this original like set of movies, and that is Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. I love this movie because of its own originality. I love the style that they did in this movie, and I love like they tried to mimic the Halloween movie, but it's what's funny is if you guys don't pay attention in the movie, there's actually a scene where somebody's watching the actual original Halloween movie on TV, and it's being played through this movie. So it's really funny, like you're watching the movie and then you see that movie and then you're like, oh, okay, that's really cool. They tried to make this its own standalone movie, but they called it Halloween, so everyone was like, man, you can't call Halloween Halloween if there's no Michael in it. We get that. It's its own made stand movie. I would have rather it been called I would have rather it been called something else other than Halloween, but it's its own thing. I think what they were trying to do was like the mask was making him go crazy and all that stuff, and I think that was the original intent, but they couldn't like match it really well. So I think that was the original thing. I'm not totally 100% right, but it's there. So this one is a series. The first 3 are my top ones, and this is very low budget, but it's still very good. Paranormal Activity. If you guys have never seen this movie or any of these movies, highly recommend you give it at least a try. There's not really a whole lot of graphicness in it, just a lot of like supernatural moments and some parts where it's languagey. There's different versions of the movie. There's rated R and then there's unrated. I've watched both, and there's not really that much of a difference between the two, but there's a little bit. But there's 6 movies, 7 movies actually now, I think. Which one does this? Yep, there's 7 movies after this. There's 6 in this collection, then there's another one. So from this list, I'm going to go with this one, and this one. The next one is following the Conjuring universe. Now, we're going to get into the Conjuring whole thing later on, because I wanted to put them in this list, but I didn't. There's a reason for that, because they're my favorite supernatural style of movies. I'll get into that more later in another video. And this one is part of that world, and it is called The Nun. This takes place in 1955, if I'm not mistaken. This movie in particular. Now, this movie follows a young nun who hears about a case in, if I'm not Romania. Yes, Romania. And she hears about a nun that died, or somehow died, or whatever, like some random weird thing that just she died. And she goes to investigate, and then there's a whole supernatural thing going on, and yeah, so it gets really intense at the end, which is ties into several other movies. And the reason why I like these movies and the Conjuring style in general is because The Conjuring is based all around Ed and Lorraine Warren's cases back when they were demonologists. If you guys don't know what demonologist is, I'm not going to go into too much detail. Look it up if you guys are curious. If some of y'all haven't noticed, if this side, there's one of my new posters I bought. There's a poster right above my head with all the Five Nights at Freddy's. So, and there's one other thing I'm going to show you guys too afterwards, if I can get the camera to work, which I'm sure it will. I'll be looking at it through this point of view, but aiming it this way. So, we'll get to that in just a moment. But the last two movies I have on my list, one of them is my absolute favorite supernatural style of a movie above all time. And it is the movie that scared the living daylights out of me when I was in theaters. When I went to go see it in theaters. And it is that good, and it's only rated PG-13, which is really crazy to think. But, moving on. This movie is the most that really, like, intensified people's fear of sound, because they were unsure of if it's gonna come true or not. This is John Krasinski's and Emily Blunt's A Quiet Place. This was always the best one out of the whole series. If you guys have not seen this movie, please watch it. It's rated PG-13, so it's not too graphic or too intense. It just gets intense at some parts. Please give it a watch. It is definitely one to really give it a try. Basically, aliens show up and they have a really strong hearing ability, and makes it very hard for humans to live. So, definitely give it a whirl. Please, I'm not going to go into too much detail. That's just all you basically need to know. So, definitely please give this one a whirl. Please. The last on my list, which I would think, like I said, is my absolute favorite supernatural movie of all time. And that is, and I love that they did this with this cover. This is a steelbook of this movie, and it is absolutely glorious. I love this detail. And I love the back. I love the whole front. I love the detail on the side. They just keep it basic on the side. Front is just basic. And then the back is just so super cool. And I'll give you the name of the title first. The movie is called Insidious. This movie was so good, and it is still good to this day. Like, I'll even show you this part, what they do in the cover. Look at this. Look how well they do that. This part right here. Look at that. That is so cool. This movie is really good. Please, if you guys are into any, or just want to check this out, please check this out. The front of the cover is so cool. That is the little kid in the movie that is like the main protagonist in the movie. And then the antagonist you'll meet at the very end. You see glimpses of the character, and then, yeah, this is another part of the movie that becomes very, very popular throughout the series. This is a series, actually. 5 movies. There's 5 movies. 3 in this trilogy. So there's Insidious Chapter 2, and then Insidious: The Red Door, which is this. There's 3 movies around this kid. and the family. So that's that's all I gotta say about the movie. If you have never seen the movie, please give it a try. It's very, very well done. It is made by a person that I've grown to like as a director, James Wan. He did the first Saw movie, or first couple of Saws actually, and he also did one of the Fast and Furious. I think he did Tokyo Drift, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely give this movie a try, or any of these movies a try if you have never seen any of them. Of course, if you're a kid, please only with permission from an adult. If you're an adult, then you're your own person. If you want to, if you don't, that's up to you. But these are my top movies I watched throughout the year of fall season. So definitely give them a try if you are wanting to or not. That's wholly up to you. But I thought I'd make a little video about all these movies that I've enjoyed and grown to like. So without further ado, I'm going to give you guys a quick look at one of my favorite things, character movie related wise, that I bought. So let me do this very carefully. And it is right there. Miss Annabelle. She is from the Conjuring universe. And you can also see Chucky. Please don't mind my mess on my bed. But if you also guys can see, there are Stranger Things right in the background right there. But yes, Conjuring right there. So, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope everyone enjoyed today's video. Please leave a like down below. Leave a comment down. What's your favorite horror movie, or what is your favorite movie to watch throughout the Halloween season? Ones that did not make my list that were right there were Hocus Pocus, of course. A few others here and there, but nothing really like too missing. But that is definitely, out of all my favorites, these are the ones I really like the most. So please leave a comment down below. What is your favorite movie? What are ones that you watch all the time, and ones that you might want to watch to see how you like. So thank you guys so much, and don't forget, peace.